so you can give them the breakdown of militant atheism. Is it a thing?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And a lot of people think that militant atheism is pretty much just being a butthole about it. Being all up in a theist's face or just a religious person in general. But that's really not what, at least to me, that's not what militant atheism is about. If you're going to be a butthole, you're going to be a butthole no matter if you believe in God or if you don't. Um, with militant atheism, though, at least the way that I come at militant atheism is that I do want religion to disappear, and I want it to not be a factor, but I want it to happen through educating people, through providing them with good explanations for things, and by pretty much just educating people and getting them to realize themselves how much bullcrap is contained in religion. I really don't think that that's ever going to happen. I mean, we can try our hardest, and it would be awesome if one day that were to happen. But I really don't think that's that's really a feasible thing to expect religion to completely die out. But people always like to rag on militant atheism. But I really don't think it's that bad of a thing to be a militant atheist. That just means that you're not scared to put yourself out there, and you're not scared to stand up against people when they're being bigoted. At least that's what the militant atheism means to me. It's not being silent about your beliefs. And to be honest, when I first became an atheist, I was more of a silent atheist, and as I watched and I saw how much religion has its hold on our society, I decided to become a lot more vocal and a lot more out there, and I guess just what people perceive as a lot more in your face, but it's only in your face in conversations that I find myself in. It's not like I walk down the street and I find somebody that believes in God and I just get up in their face and tell them they're stupid and they're idiotic and everything like that. That's not being a militant atheist. Being a militant atheist is more about criticizing those archaic beliefs. It's more about criticizing those archaic beliefs and not being afraid to say things like, well, Muhammad was a pedophile, or there's rape in the Bible, and God condones it and He's fine with it. So are you really okay with that? Or asking a Christian, are you really okay with killing a homosexual just because they're a homosexual? I mean, that's in the Bible. And me personally, I encourage everybody to be a militant atheist because, we're not going to get anywhere by staying silent and letting people, run over us, and letting people do things without suffering these repercussions of just being countered or questioned. And again, being militant atheist isn't being up in your face and being a butthole. It's about just not being afraid to point out, things in a person's religious faith, and not being afraid to point them out, and not being afraid to tell them, well, you're wrong about that. Like, you're wrong about, America being founded on the Christian faith. That's just simply wrong. Or you're wrong about the idea that, it takes morality to, or it takes God in order to have morals. And, pointing out how the morality of the Bible has actually changed, like, over time, like what God condones and what God doesn't. So I'm sure that there are going to be plenty of people that disagree with me about like what it means to be a militant atheist or what militant atheism is. But I I really don't. I've never seen militant atheism as a bad thing, as really in your face, being a butthole, calling people idiot thing. It's always just not being afraid to counter those that tell you that you're immoral if you don't believe in God.
Very good, very good. So, real quickly, I thought of something that I wanted to ask you here because personally, I don't think that militant atheism is a real thing. I think that it is a perception that people have of outspoken atheists, but I don't think that you can ever have a such thing as a militant atheist simply because atheism, as we continue to go over and over and over this, is just a lack of a belief in God. That's it. Anything extra that you do is completely unrelated most of the time to atheism because it's just a simple lack of belief in a God. So anything else you do is a direct representative of you as a person and not atheism in general. So when people tend to think about when people tend to think about those militant atheists, like if I were to go on that page, the Freedom from Atheism Foundation, and ask them, well, name a militant atheist, the first person they're probably going to say is Richard Dawkins. So I wanted you to kind of touch on that and the fact that what we're battling here is religious privilege, and talk about how, just real briefly, how, writing books that support science, logic, and reason have nothing to do at all really with being militant in the sense that they're using the term. Now, the way that you presented it, I can't agree with that, but going back to what atheism actually is, personally, I don't think there's a such thing. But an outspoken atheist, I can go with that.
Well, yeah, I was merely explaining what people have defined as, or what people, I guess, perceive militant atheism is. I mean, personally, just like new atheism, I really don't like the phrase new atheism or the term new atheism, because atheism, has been around for a while. There's nothing new about it. But just like new atheism, militant atheism is just atheism with but there is a clear distinction in those that are atheists and don't want to really put themselves out there and actually criticize others for putting themselves out there, and those atheists that aren't afraid to speak out. But a lot of people have labeled like militant atheists as those that aren't afraid of speaking out and actually do speak out against it. Like, for instance, you mentioned Richard Dawkins. I know Christopher Hitchens is another one that is regularly cited as militant atheist. But you see, that's why I defined it as I did, because Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, while Hitchens might be a butthole sometimes about things, the whole militant atheism part is just being an outspoken atheist, not being afraid to call religion what it is, not and pointing out the flaws in religion, and like you said, writing books about it, and educating the masses on it. And that's really what militant atheism is just being out there, putting your opinions out there, educating people, and just generally seeking to enlighten those that might believe in God, or those that already are atheists, maybe educating them on some counter arguments that they might encounter in their daily lives. Because even me, especially living in the South, I encounter a lot of religious talk at work. and family and whatnot. So, that's what drove me to actually start looking up like the different counter arguments and information on it, and that's why me deciding to be more outspoken about it, and me deciding to be not being afraid to question those that pose those kind of things, and trying to educate people is why I consider myself, militant atheist, if you had to even apply the label. And I am the Godless Engineer. You can catch me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on everywhere. Hey, don't worry about it. You can find me at all those places. Do please look me up, and also look all these guys up, watch their videos, and comment on their stuff. They put out all really good stuff. So y'all have a nice night.